we're also slowly coming to an end towards this lecture, but there's one thing that we'll want to cover once again. So in the last lecture was about the 4 pillars of coaching. We also talked about transferring control, but I put it out a little differently. So transfer control is to understand that the organization set out the direction for the teams. So if you have a high level competitive team, the organization sets out basically the framework where we want to go. Okay, we want to win the World Series, we want to go to Worlds, or we want to win the competition, or maybe we want to have the resources to get into the playoffs, or we want to rank at least as the 6th place in this tournament, or the 20th place, and that is fine by us. So when you have the direction from the organization, then the staff sets out the framework of rules where the team works in. So we don't discriminate each other. We are, let's say, providing constructive criticism. But it is important when you make rules, make it really few. Effective, but few. Because you want to set a framework where there's basically nothing allowed outside of it. But within that, and this is where the magic happens, is where the team decides together how they are working within that framework through agreements. So once you made the values or the objectives or the things that really matter towards organization and the staff to work within, then everything should be an agreement from that point on, working together with the players. How should we behave? Do we value being on time? Yes or no? Do we value being creative? Do we value trusting each other in certain moments of time? Or do we want to control everything? How do we want to behave? Are we supportive? Do we want to hang out and build friendships? Or isn't that who we are and that important? Do we want to set goals for every scrim, or do we want to more improvise it? How do we want things to be, and what can we agree upon? So how do you do that? And that is from the last lecture as well, is to fill in this, let's say, exercise together with the team. So you divide the staff and the players in 2 separate teams, as you can call it. So one is the coach staff and what they find important. So we want players to be on time, to also show initiative, be assertive, to be reflective, to show willingness, to be supportive towards another. But the players might find something that as well important, but also or for example, when that the coaches are assertive too, they put in a lot of work in the preparation for us, so we know what to look for, and enemy scouting. We want that the staff also not only do structure environment in scrims and practices, but also organize a little bit of fun events once in a while, all these type of things, and then you combine it together, and then you sift out and decide which one of these on the list find important to build, let's say, the team identity around the values and maybe perhaps some of the objectives as well. So you create a framework within a framework that is all about agreements, that the players feel like, yeah, this team is me within this organization with this staff, and I feel comfortable. Because why did I put this here? Because if everything is more clear, there is clarity, there is structure, there has been some individual attention, and there is some stimulation, motivation, and there's also a bit of transferring control with letting the players decide on agreements as well, then there's more freedom and safety to confront each other with each other, to learn more about each other, and to really connect with one another. Then that is what we all want. We don't want negative and non-beneficial conflict. We want development. We want to see results, but we have to do that through the humans, the individuals that are attached within the team. So a quick summary about some benefits of having agreements compared to rules. So when you have agreements, there's clarity. Players know what is expected of them. It gives peace of mind. So there's not people angry or conflict about when is the contract coming up? When do I get paid? When is the next scrim? Players know what to expect as well as the staff and organization. That's good. And there must be fun, good agreements help being together run more smoothly, safety, respect towards each other, and more positive behavior. That's what it instills as well. Knowing boundaries. Players know what they can and cannot do. Don't expect players to know each other individuals' limits. So if you have that framework, they are talking about with each other and they have some transferring control so they can connect well on different levels because you facilitate it instead of letting them figuring out everything on their own, what is happening way too many times. So number 5, independency. It helps the player to initiate more because they know the framework. I know where I can move within the framework, but I don't go outside of that. So they know what to do in different points in time. So there's less noise. Number 6, less conflicts. Agreements prevent arguments and conflicts. So if you already made agreements about play styles, goals, definitions, and you hold each other accountable, and you can talk about those things that you agreed before, then it is very easy to resolve that issue because they agreed on it. They basically signed the contract on the bottom side, like this is the team that I want to be part with all these agreements. So it's very easy to solve issues and to overcome and prevent unnecessary issues. But you always keep conflicts in the day-to-day practices, and you cannot, let's say, overcome it. And that is a positive thing that we've mentioned before. And then lastly, number 7, you will have better listeners since the players know what to expect. Also within the conflict, they're more eager to learn from each other, share perspective, build bridges, and be complementary towards another and not distant. And they can focus their attention better in the moment because of it. So now we are moving towards the last sheet, and that is a summary of what we discussed today. And I hope it was somewhat clarifying and in the terms of expectations of what you can do in different types of situations and different types of contexts, and what types of things you can use in order to solve conflicts that are non-beneficial, and when you have conflicts that are beneficial, to also build on that positivity as well. So the last part is the summary. To go over it all is: number 1, conflicts are between one or more individuals that have a different perception and are incompatible from their view. So not other outside view, but between those players, people, individuals, and they are different, and that causes clashes. But also remember, conflicts are a healthy byproduct of teams that are progressing. You need conflict in order to find what is the best for the team, in order to move forward, to find the balance between, for example, aggressive play or slow and more conservative play. Find the right balance for the team and what the situation needs. Number 3, streamline conflicts by being open and apply constructive criticism. 4, prevention of non-beneficial conflicts is better than curing them. So providing the structure, some frameworks in how to approach it and how to deal with certain types of objective approaches and values as well, that is very beneficial to overcome a lot of headaches into the future when you go into the storming phase. So it's more about other things that are beneficial in terms of development and growth of the team, and not all the things that you could have prevented before by laying out some ground rules, values, and a framework where everyone knows what is expected of them and how they can and should behave within the culture. And last but not least, a good start of the team is half the work. So be sure, if you want to overcome conflicts, there is no thing as not spending or there's no such thing as spending too much time in getting in sync with each other. Do that as early on as possible. Connect with them, be invested, not interested. Really try to understand this person and these players and staff that you're working with. Ask questions and really dig down deep in order to understand how they perceive things, and do these exercises about the values, objective, and approaches that are within this lecture. And that will really help you set up for success and overcome conflicts into the long run as well. So that is it, guys, for today, about how to handle conflicts within the team. If you have more questions for the people in this lecture, post them down into the lecture workshop text channel and I will answer them in the Q&A section. If you like to be there for a next time into this lecture and you want to interact and ask questions live, then hop on into the Discord channel that is in the description below if you're watching this video. And thank you guys for watching, and hope you enjoyed it. It provided some value for you and how to behave in conflicting situations and how to be a better coach, better player, and to know how team works. Because as always, Next Level Esports is there and the #1 platform for esports coaches and team development to get the people side of esports right, and also to help you guys reach that next level. So thank you so much for attending, and see you guys next time. Bye bye.